Last year, the average American household spent over $3,000 just on home maintenance and repairs. That's not renovations or upgrades. That's fixing stuff that broke, replacing tools that wore out, paying professionals to do jobs that took them 20 minutes and cost you $200. Meanwhile, about 40 miles outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, there's a community of people who spend almost nothing on any of that. Their tools last 60 years, their buildings go up in a single day, and their workshops run without a single electrical outlet. The Amish have been quietly perfecting a system of tool tricks and repair techniques for over 300 years. And honestly, when you see what a $5 piece of steel can do in their hands, you start to wonder why the rest of us have been doing it wrong this whole time. But these aren't vague lifestyle tips. These are specific techniques with real dollar amounts attached to them. And by the end of this video, you'll have at least 5 tricks you can use this week to start saving real money. So let's get into the one that blew my mind first. The single most underrated tool in any Amish woodworking shop is something called a card scraper. It's a thin rectangle of hardened steel, about the size of a playing card, and it costs roughly $5. You can hold one between your thumbs and forefingers right now if you had one in your pocket. Here's what it does. When you flex a slight bow into the steel and drag it across a piece of wood, it lifts whisper-thin shavings and leaves behind a surface smoother than 220 grit sandpaper. There's no dust, no noise, and it never clogs the wood grain. And unlike a power sander that tears up figured woods like curly maple, a card scraper on a woodworking bench handles them beautifully. The only maintenance it needs is a quick stroke with a burnishing rod every few hours to roll a fresh cutting edge. That takes about 30 seconds. Amish kids learn this technique before they turn 10. Now think about what that $5 card scraper actually replaces. A random orbital sander runs $60 to $150. Sandpaper discs cost $8 to $15 per pack, and you burn through several packs a year. Dust collection systems for a workshop run $500 to $1,200. None of that exists in an Amish shop. And the card scraper is just the beginning. According to woodworking cost analyses, a complete hand tool woodworking shop can be assembled for $200 to $500 using quality vintage tools bought at estate sales and flea markets. A comparable power tool shop costs $2,500 to $5,000 or more. That's before you pay a single electric bill. Here's my favorite example. Master woodworker Paul Sellers has used his Stanley No. 4 smoothing plane for over 60 years of professional daily work. That's roughly 45,000 hours of use, and in all that time, he's gone through only 3.5 cutting irons. You can pick up the same plane at an estate sale for $25 to $40. Add a $25 replacement blade from Hawk Tools, and you've got a $50 setup that performs on par with a $350 Lie-Nielsen bronze plane. But a sharp tool is only as good as the person maintaining it, and that brings us to the Amish trick that makes every other trick on this list actually work. Sharpening. In an Amish workshop, sharpening isn't treated as a separate chore you put off until your tools stop working. It's woven into the rhythm of the workday. You cut for a while, you touch up the edge, you keep going. Children learn to file a saw, sharpen a chisel, and tune a hand plane the same way they learn to tie their shoes. The economic impact is honestly staggering. Sharpening rather than replacing 4 to 6 blades per year saves $100 to $300 annually. And the setup to do it yourself costs almost nothing compared to powered sharpening systems. A combination waterstone in 1,000 and 6,000 grit runs $30 to $50. A honing guide costs $15 to $25. That's under $75 total for a system that replaces powered grinders, costing $200 or more. For hand saws, all you need is a triangular file matched to the tooth pattern. That's an $8 to $15 tool. Once you own it, every sharpening after that is free for life. There's actually an Amish-owned sharpening business in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania called Brandywine Sharpening, run by a craftsman named Amish Kaufman since 2007. He restores edges on everything from kitchen knives to carbide-tipped circular saw blades, and his entire business model is built on the idea that sharpening is almost always cheaper than replacing. And for your tool handles, the Amish treatment is boiled linseed oil. The application rhythm goes like this: daily for 1 week, weekly for 1 month, monthly for 1 year, then once a year after that. This builds up a moisture-resistant film that prevents cracking and splitting. A quart costs $10 to $15 and treats dozens of handles over several years. That's pennies per tool. Now, if sharpening is the foundation, then beeswax is the Amish workshop's secret weapon. And this is where things get genuinely fun to talk about, because the uses are so surprising. Here's the first one. Before driving a screw into hardwood, Amish craftsmen rub the threads across a block of beeswax. This does 2 things at once. The wax lubricates the threads so the screw sinks easier without splitting the wood, and it seals out moisture so that screw will never rust in place. Amish farmers use the same beeswax trick on sickle bar mower blades, and because it's a natural product, it's completely safe if it contacts hay or feed destined for livestock. For long-term rust prevention on hand tools, there's a traditional paste recipe that sounds almost too simple. You melt 2 parts beeswax with 1 part boiled linseed oil and thin it slightly with mineral spirits. Apply it with a rag, let it haze, and buff it off. That paste creates a breathable protective film that lasts for months on tool steel. A single batch costs about $10 in raw materials and lasts years. Compare that to commercial rust preventatives at $8 to $15 per small can that need constant reapplication. But my personal favorite beeswax trick is the wood finish. The traditional Amish recipe calls for 8 ounces of linseed oil heated gently with 2 ounces of beeswax in a simple water bath. You stir it until the wax dissolves, pour it into a jar, and let it cool to a paste consistency. This linwax finish produces a warm, beautiful satin sheen on furniture, cutting boards, tool handles, and butcher blocks. It costs about $5 to $8 per batch. The commercial equivalents from brands like Beeswax or Tried and True run $35 to $60 per quart. Oh, and here's a bonus one. Got a scratch on your wooden dining table? Grab a walnut from the kitchen. Rub the raw walnut meat directly into the scratch. The natural oils fill and darken the damaged wood almost instantly. No stain, no finish, no trip to the hardware store. That's a $0 furniture repair that actually works. Speaking of things that cost almost nothing, let's talk about old tools that flat out embarrass their modern replacements. A brass plumb bob costs $5 to $15. You hang it from a string, and gravity gives you a perfectly vertical reference line every single time. It never needs calibration, it never runs out of batteries, and it works in bright sunlight where laser levels wash out completely. A quality laser level costs $100 to $300 and fails on all 3 of those counts. Gravity, it turns out, never lies and never needs charging. Then there's the brace and bit, which is basically a hand-cranked drill. Used models go for $15 to $40 at antique shops and flea markets. No noise, no dust, no charging time. And the controlled torque is actually better than a power drill for precision tasks like boring dowel holes, where accuracy matters more than speed. Meanwhile, a cordless drill runs $80 to $200, and replacement battery packs cost another $89 each. For rough shaping work, the Amish rely on 2 tools that work as a pair. The draw knife takes rough green wood down to approximate shape with fast, aggressive cuts. The spokes have refines the curves and smooths the surfaces. Together, they cost $35 to $70 used, and they replace an electric router and shaper setup that runs $100 to $250. The Amish have a saying that captures all of this pretty well. You pay for steel once, then feed it with sweat and sharpening, not electricity and spare batteries. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. We cover Amish techniques and traditional skills every week, and there's a lot more coming. Now let's talk about something that honestly feels like a superpower once you understand it. The Amish repair culture. The operating principle is simple. If something still serves its purpose, it doesn't need to be replaced. And that philosophy produces some incredibly specific repair techniques that anyone can learn. Take broken tool handles. In the modern world, a cracked axe handle means a trip to the hardware store and $30 to $45 for a replacement. In an Amish workshop, a new handle gets carved from a piece of hickory wood using a draw knife and spokeshave. Hickory is the gold standard for striking tools because of its shock absorption. And here's a trick that makes the whole process dramatically easier. You use green, freshly cut wood for carving. It shapes like frozen cream cheese, as one traditional woodworker described it. Then, as the handle dries over the following weeks, the wood shrinks and grips the tool head tighter than any factory fit. Making 3 to 5 replacement handles per year saves $45 to $150 compared to buying new tools. Old tools get repurposed instead of thrown away. Worn-out files get transformed into wood-turning gouges and chisels by annealing the steel, reshaping it on a grinder, retempering the edge, and turning a new handle. Broken screwdriver shafts become file handles. Old shovel blades become garden edgers. Steve Timothy of Sullivan Machine. Tooling in Ohio actually built a business around retrofitting used industrial equipment for Amish workshops. He once purchased a tool grinder, pulled the motor off, and mounted a hand crank shaft to convert it into a completely manual drill press. And when it comes to furniture, the Amish use a joinery technique called draw boring that's borderline genius. The peg holes in the tenon are deliberately offset from the holes in the mortise by about a 1/16 of an inch. When the hardwood peg is driven through, it physically pulls the joint tight with enormous mechanical force. The result is a joint that actually gets stronger with age instead of loosening. That's why Amish furniture built from solid hardwood can be sanded and refinished dozens of times over its lifetime, while the veneered particle board stuff from big box stores falls apart in 5 years. But the most dramatic Amish cost savings don't come from individual tools at all. They come from a tradition called the frolic. A frolic is a communal work event where neighbors show up to accomplish in hours what would take one family weeks. The barn raising is the most famous version. According to Amish America, a leading resource on Amish culture, a typical barn raising brings together 50 to over 100 volunteers who erect an entire timber frame barn structure in a single day. An experienced carpenter directs assignments. The host family provides the plan and the food. The community provides the labor. The family only pays for materials. The labor cost is zero. And for context, hiring a construction crew to frame and raise a barn would typically cost $50,000 to $100,000 or more in labor alone. But frolics go way beyond barns. There are roofing frolics, fencing frolics, painting frolics, harvest frolics, and moving frolics. Word spreads at Sunday church service, and community members show up as they're able. In one documented case, 25 people moved 30 tons of iron equipment from a tool shed in a single day, work that would have cost $5,000 to $8,000 in hired labor. The tool sharing model works on informal reciprocity too. Expensive specialized equipment gets shared across households. Every community has its own blacksmith shop for forging and repairing horseshoes and farm implements. Local harness makers handle quick repairs. The knowledge network is just as valuable as the tool network because neighbors know who can weld, who can sharpen, and who can do precision machine work. Repairs stay in the community instead of generating professional service bills. The financial result is remarkable. According to financial researchers, the average Amish adult saves roughly 20% of their monthly income. The average American household saves about 5%. And that efficiency extends to farming in a way that might surprise you. An Ohio State University extension study compared the operating costs of draft horses versus tractors for agricultural work. The hourly operating cost of a draft horse, including feed, veterinary care, bedding, and equipment repair, came out to $3.39. A 65 horsepower tractor costs $33.57 per hour to operate. That's nearly a 10-to-1 cost difference. A trained team of 2 draft horses costs $4,000 to $6,000 to purchase. A comparable used tractor runs $25,000 to $150,000. Horses reproduce on their own. They produce roughly $600 per year in organic fertilizer value per animal, and they run on grass, a fuel source that literally grows itself. The key innovation that makes modern Amish farming work is something called a forecart. It's a 2-wheeled cart that hitches behind draft horses and has a drawbar that accepts any tractor-designed implement. This was invented by Ohio's Geauga Amish community, and it's a brilliant piece of engineering because it lets horse-powered farms use equipment originally designed for tractors. Pioneer Equipment, incorporated in Dalton, Ohio, founded in 1978, became the world's largest producer of horse-drawn farm equipment, specifically because old pre-tractor equipment was wearing out and replacement parts had disappeared. They even adopted Norwegian Kverneland plow bottoms, which were engineered in Scandinavia where fuel costs are high, to minimize friction and make horse-pulled plowing more efficient. In the garden, Amish techniques compound the savings even further. Seed saving, which means collecting seeds from the healthiest plants each season, eliminates annual seed purchases completely and produces locally adapted varieties that grow stronger every generation. Animal manure and manure tea replace commercial fertilizers. Wood ash from heating stoves provides calcium and potassium for free. And the Three Sisters planting method, where corn, beans, and squash grow together in the same plot, eliminates the need for separate trellising, nitrogen fertilizer, and weed suppression all at once. Research studies have consistently shown that Amish soils test higher in organic matter than neighboring conventional farms, which means better water retention and less need for irrigation. So here's what all of this actually boils down to for you and me. The Amish haven't discovered any secret technology. They've systematically eliminated the recurring costs that the rest of us accept as normal. Battery replacements, professional service calls, disposable tools, commercial finishes, contractor labor, monthly electric bills, and the constant cycle of buying new to replace broken. They found a workaround for every single one of those expenses, and almost all of their solutions are available to anyone willing to pick up a hand tool and learn. If you want to start this week, here's where I'd begin. Pick up a combination sharpening stone and a honing guide for under $75. That one investment saves $100 to $300 a year in blade replacements alone. Mix up a batch of the beeswax and linseed oil paste for about $10. Hit an estate sale and look for vintage Stanley hand planes in the $25 to $50 range. And next time something breaks around the house, ask yourself the Amish question before you reach for your wallet. Does this still serve its purpose, or does it just need to be repaired? 300 years of accumulated knowledge, and it all starts with that $5 card scraper sitting on a workshop bench in Lancaster County. Sometimes the oldest tricks really are the best ones. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to love our deep dive into the Amish building techniques that modern engineers still can't figure out. I'll leave a link right here.